So I think my biggest struggle was, as a student, I went to the University of Toronto and I started my whole educational career in life sciences. Now, when you're in life science, you're either going to be a doctor or you're going into research. And I knew early on that I definitely didn't want to be a doctor, so I really had to figure out what I actually wanted to do pretty early on. And life sciences is one of the hardest programs to be in University of Toronto, so they're actually trying to weed you out as quickly as possible. So you really have to figure it out as soon as possible. So I got some experience in the research industry and I realized I actually don't like this either. I don't really like the hospital scene. I don't think this is for me. But I knew that I always loved geography. That was something that I always excelled in high school. I always had a passion for it and it was something that came really naturally to me. So I said, I want to hang on to this in my major, my double major, but how else can I layer in what I've already been studying, since I don't want to just throw away my life science degree, basically. So I decided to do a double major in physical and environmental geography, as well as environment and health, to keep that human biology and that scientific background, since I still love doing that. And the glue to bring these two worlds together was my minor in GIS, which is a mapping software program, and that really brought these two worlds together. And to me, being in the program, everything made perfect sense. I was like, of course, geography, data, health data, bringing it all together, it made perfect sense in my mind, but for a lot of people, it didn't make any sense. If you're in life science and you're not gonna be a doctor, what are these two worlds colliding? So I ran with it and I learned a lot and I met a lot of great people, and I think that my biggest obstacle to get through was to not kind of go with the flow in school and to really try to carve out my own path using what I enjoy as well as what I think could excel me into the future and allow me to build skills that I would need in a professional career, not just something that looks good on paper, essentially. So in my last year of university, I decided I wanted to get some more research experience because, to be honest, I was still trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do when I eventually left university. So I ended up doing a research position with one of my GIS professors, which was an amazing experience. I spent the summer with him really using health data and using GIS in order to answer questions of health crisis in Toronto, who has access to healthy food, which was amazing to see that real life application of using data as well as GIS at the geographic level. It was like all my worlds were coming together. It was amazing. So once that research position wrapped up, I got word from my professor that a position opened up at Environics Analytics, that they were looking for an intern in their insights department. And I obviously applied and I got the job right away. So I started as an intern and I was essentially doing all the QC work for the first few months, but it was a great way to get into the industry right away, to start at the bottom, because that's how everyone usually starts. So that was my intro into the marketing world. So my struggle as a student, I did my undergrad at U of T, which is inherently a difficult school, and on top of that I was in the life science program, which is quite a difficult program where they really try to weed you out within the first 2 years. So going into this program, I knew right away that I didn't want to be a doctor, and that was really the main career that everyone else in the program wanted to be. Essentially, if you told someone you didn't want to become a doctor, they looked at you like you were crazy. So I knew I didn't want to be a doctor, and the only other path apparently was research. So I kind of held on to that for a little bit. I didn't take it completely off the table, but I went through my first couple years, and once I kind of took the doctor career off, I had to figure out what to combine my programs into a major. So I think the biggest struggle in university was not only hearing what the only career path was that I had to pursue, but it was also trying to carve out my own path and kind of combining majors and minors and trying to see exactly what I should be doing, not only based on what I like, but also what will propel me into the future. And to be honest, at the end of second year, the future was very much unknown. I didn't really know what I was going to do after undergrad, but I knew what I liked and I knew what I was good at the time. So I wanted to create that world for myself and carve it out for myself, regardless of if people were on board.
CMA Next. Find your path, find what's next.